They are up in Toronto to play the Blue Jays. It's a 7:07 start tonight here on the Buzzard. Buzzard v. Blue Jay. Blue Jays are okay. They're a little bit south of 500, but nowhere near your Cleveland Guardians. So that's the first of three before the Guards come back home next week to host the Mariners, and then the Blue Jays come to town for a couple of home stretches there.
Do you know why they're called the Toronto Blue Jays?
The Toronto Blue Jays, I mean, they haven't been around that long. The Blue Jays, because Blue Jays are partial to maple trees.
I don't know. I asked you.
I mean, that's as good of an example as I could. I don't know why they're called the Toronto Blue Jays. I don't know if I mentioned it. I installed a birdhouse with a camera in it.
Those are so fun.
And then my wife gets notifications on her phone when there's a bird. You know, it's a thing that's full of seed, and then there's a Wi-Fi camera in the middle of it. And it's called, I was laughing because I said, they're just slapping AI onto everything now. But I guess that what that means is that when you get the notification, it also identifies the bird for you. And so I thought that we were going to be treated to just this vast array of avian wildlife around, because there's always crows in our backyard and things like that. Basically, it looks like two birds have posted up, and they're coming back, and there's a couple of cardinals. There's like bright red cardinals that are the most frequent visitors to this video birdhouse. Other than that, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's a cool thing. It's, something my daughter can look at. But I thought every day we were going to be treated to some kind of new bird on the perch.
They
so
claim
far,
their territory.
Yeah, so far not the case. Well, they've unveiled the team logos and the jerseys for the first season of Utah's brand new NHL team for our bureau chiefs out there in the great state of Utah. Of course, it used to be the Phoenix Coyotes, and they moved up to Salt Lake City, and they left it to the fans up there, or the potential fans, to come up with a name. I don't think that they've got a name yet. They're calling it the Utah Hockey Club. So for the first season, they've just got jerseys that say Utah on them. There was, I think we briefly went over the
Utah
list about a week or so ago, but they.
I like the Yeti.
Utah Yeti. Some people like. I didn't. None of them really blew up my skirt. I don't remember but they got a lot of submissions for the names.
They should have kept them in Arizona and just called them Ice.
The Arizona Ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since there's a lot of ice there anyway.
Sure, like the Utah Jazz.
Mm-hmm. No, I was thinking more like the
deportation.
Deportation.
Oh, immigration situation. Yeah. Well, yeah, they got a lot of submissions from people, and I don't know what they'll land on, but I'm sure there's a lot of Utah moms who heard they could win a Stanley Cup and got excited.
Hey.
But
idiots.
You big dummy. Big dummies.
I like Hockey Club. I think they should just stay Hockey Club.
I mean, Washington football team didn't bother me.
I loved Washington football team,
season.
and like so many soccer teams are just like Cincinnati FC.
Yeah,
I think that's just fine.
Yep, I got no problem with that. Call it Utah Hockey Club.
Like if the Guardians had become Cleveland baseball team, I would have been like, yeah,
CBT.
Yeah, CBT.
Hey, Gaylord.
Hey, gang, and happy Friday.
What's going on, Gaylord?
Mr. Cox, I wanted to say that my wife may be taking me out to Portage Lake.
Oh, boy. Be careful what you wish for.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, well, it's a public place, Gaylord. You can do whatever you like out there.
Oh, come on.
I will. Yep, I will be out there at Pix tomorrow afternoon in Portage Lakes.
I know.
Yep.
And will I get a chance to
kiss him on the
shake
mouth?
your hand and say
Of course. Well, you can fist bump me, yes. I rarely shake hands, but I'm always happy to fist bump, Gaylord.
Well, it would be a pleasure
mine
to say hi, and I would love to introduce my wife to you.
Well, that would be great.
You all are so dear
Mm-hmm.
to me, and I want to start meeting you all personally. And the next one I would love to see is Miss Santora. So
That's
when
me.
she's back in Cleveland area, I would love to see you too. So
Well, we'll see if that can all. Your poor wife, your poor long-suffering wife, Gaylord. She's just you're asking her to drive you around to these things that poor woman couldn't care less. And well, listen, if you're out there tomorrow, make sure you say hello, okay, Gaylord?
she knows I'm a big fan to all of you, and I love you all dearly. I listen to you all the time, and I want to see Mr. Squire again.
I'm sure you'll get that chance. I got plenty of shows coming up.
All right. All right.
Okay. Hey, thank you,
Well,
Gaylord.
You're a dear friend. I love you all. Have a good day.
All right. You too, Gaylord. Happy Father's Day. The name Blue Jays, by the way, they've only been around since 1976. That's why I've got a Blue Jay.
That's a pretty long time.
From
Not
the
compared to
70s?
other baseball
Well, that's what I'm
times.
saying. The
Yeah,
baseball team. I mean, I have a Blue Jays shirt. And it says since 1976, and I mean that's how old my brother is. And they basically just took suggestions from people in Toronto and pulled a name. They had a name the team contest. They got 4,000 suggestions when they got the expansion team. 154 people suggested Blue Jays. I still don't know what the significance of that is. And they pulled a name. The grand winner was a periodontist from Etobicoke, a guy named Dr. William Mills. And but I don't know why so many people came up with Blue Jay. I don't know. But there it is. Maybe Woody will tell me. Woody, please tell me you've got some information on the Blue Jays. Now, you know I'm not talking about the OJs, right? I know we talk music a lot. I'm not talking about the OJs. I'm talking...
Man, that is some soul music.
The soul finger, yeah.
Whoa, slow down.
Yeah.
The Gaylord mode.
I've got an entire like aviarian I've got so many different kinds of birds in my backyard, right? But Blue Jays are like just vicious.
Well, they're the jerks of the sky, yes.
Yeah, I don't know, for pound, they're the toughest and the biggest bullies flying around, other than birds of prey. It's amazing how much of a tough guy Blue Jays actually are.
Well, that must be why they thought it was an appropriate name for the new Canadian baseball team back in the 70s.
But I'll tell you a story. Me and my girl just watched this happen. There was a blue jay making a nest up in one of my trees, and I had we put the garden in, and there was a white zip tie on one of the tomato cages, and we watched this blue jay fly out of the tree and try to rip this little white zip tie off this tomato cage for 2 hours, and he was not giving up.
Mm-hmm.
He needed that white zip tie off that tomato cage. He was not going to give up. And I went out there and took a pair of scissors, and I snipped it in half, and sure as shrimp, he came down and got it, and he was happy as a blue jay.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you, Woody. I appreciate it.
That's enough calls for this segment.
They initially wanted to call the team the Toronto Blues. People liked Toronto Blues, but that had already been being used by the University of Toronto. So they said, well, there are a lot of we thought Blues should be in it, and there were a lot of other teams using birds. There were the Cardinals and the Orioles. So we went with Blue Jays. It's as simple as that. Why did they come up with that name? There you go. We have a lot of, a lot. I don't know. We have about 3 or 4 bureau chiefs in the city of Omaha, Nebraska. And a guy got in trouble there, a dude working at a Motel 6. They've been having some financial problems at this Motel 6. And they had to do some forensic accounting and talk to some of the other employees and find out what was going on. And one of the problems was that they had a clerk at the Motel 6 who was, word had gotten out that he was taking ground beef as payment.
Nice.
How does
This is a
word
very
get out?
Midwest
I
thing.
mean, not only that, but ostensibly it's people coming from other places. It's not like Omahans, if that's what they're called, local people who are staying there. You have to think that it's people. So how would anybody think to take beef as payment? But that's what was going on. They were having problems with this guy. Local police and city leaders say that this particular location, the Motel 6, is in a kind of a crime, a high crime area.
Crimey.
It's in a crimey area, and there were people taking ground beef as payment.
The night clerk was accepting ground beef as payment for a room. But we've been working with their corporate headquarters because their corporate headquarters, at last conversation we had, that location does not meet their industry branding standards.
Oh, you think? Just so I'm clear, he was accepting what for payment? Ground beef, sir. I'm sorry. That doesn't meet our industry branding standards. Although that's a good pun. Branding. So that guy there, they got rid of him and said, hey, we just want to let you guys know you can no longer accept. I wonder if they had to type out a note on the door and stick it up there. We could, like sometimes you'll walk into a place and go, cash only, our machines are down. And that's where in 2024, you tip the F out of there and walk the other way because who's walking around with cash? But some places will do that. Our machines are down, cash only, or this machine only takes cards. You can't slip cash in there. The reverse. These guys, I don't know if they put a sign up that said, hey, no more ground beef as payment.
Back to money only. Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah. There was a thing on the news, speaking of meat, thing on the news this morning. You know how they love greased poles in Philadelphia?
Oh, yeah.
And I don't mean people from Poland.
No, that's what everyone knows about Philly.
Well, anytime that they have like a huge sports celebration or whatever, they'll grease utility poles downtown, and then it's like a game to see who can get up there. And part of that is when they do like street festivals or other things, they will people will get up there and they'll hang meats and cheeses up on the poles, and this is a big issue for the city workers there in Philadelphia, because then the city goes, you get the goddamn meat and cheeses down, will you? But then they grease the poles, and then it turns into a whole thing where people climb the pole. This is what constitutes fun in Philadelphia.
No, it's celebration.
Is that what it is?
Well, don't you want to have a good time while you're celebrating? So I think it's a
Well,
little
I
of
think
both.
it doesn't happen just all the time. It's just usually when they're celebrating, right?
Yeah, but the trouble
People
is,
are climbing the poles
becoming a problem.
randomly.
well, the meats and cheeses are still up there, though.
Yeah,
Like, they haven't gotten them down. Imagine you're walking around in a 95-degree Philly afternoon, and the air is wafting with slowly rotting meats and cheeses. Now, for me, meats and cheeses is one of my favorite slang for men's junk. So I assume that's not what they mean. I assume they mean real meats and cheeses.
People just like to be on elevated surfaces, first off. It's a cultural thing in the city.
That is the greatest quote of all. People just like to be on elevated surfaces, right?
How do you not know this?
People just like to be on elevated surfaces, first off. It's a cultural thing in the city. When we won the Super Bowl a few years back, everyone was climbing poles. We just love to climb poles in this city.
I just feel like it's so unique. People climbing poles for meats and cheeses, it's a sport.
It's so unique. Meats and cheeses, it's so unique.
It might create a healthier person if you're climbing for your meats and cheeses rather than just picking them up off a shelf. At least
Yeah,
you're
so
burning some calories.
Utility poles there in Philly are essentially like meat and cheese trees. People just climbing up and because once you get up to that top, both the meat and cheese, it's going to be nice and sweaty. Sweaty meats and cheeses. Well, congratulations to people there in Philadelphia. We haven't heard from Joe in Philly in a long time.
No.
I was thinking, I brought that up a couple
I
weeks
hope he's
ago.
not dead.
No, he's not dead.
Oh. All right, I got a break here. I want to send me a text, 35192. I want to get that last pair of tickets from me to see the band Switchfoot. If you like them, they're on the 20th anniversary tour of their album, The Beautiful Letdown. They're going to play the House of Blues in October, and I'll have the last 2 tickets for you coming back.
It's the Alan Cox Show on 100.6